There is a fifth dimension.
A dimension of sound.
Damn it, Frank! We tell him to be quiet. I spilled my hot cup of Uranus again.
A dimension of sight.
Hey, Arch. I'm gonna sock you in the puss.
A dimension of mind.
Nan Adams, is that you?
Next stop, the Twilight Zone.
What's going on, everyone? Welcome to the Fifth Dimension of Twilight Zone podcast. I am your you know what? I'll be your waving host, Nick. I'll be your second waving host today.
Oh, talk about a poor follow-up act. I tell you. You know what, Nick? You are a grousing malcontent.
I take the offense to that.
Good.
You know, I'm a drumstick at Thanksgiving because I lick a rock. I don't deserve this.
Just a slob with a slide rule, honestly.
No,
Just
gee whiz.
burn.
Gee whiz.
And Jake, you can take a swig from the old bottle.
Yeah, I can.
Wow, that went places. So we are the Fifth Dimension of Twilight Zone podcast, Rod Serling's favorite podcast, even though he's never heard of us because he's no longer alive. We of course are back to talk a new episode 93 of the series, and of course we are on audio feeds including Anchor and SoundCloud and Soundboom and Malcontent and Laps and Fletcher and anything you can imagine. We're on iTunes and Google Play, all that good stuff. So rate, subscribe. But yeah, we're back to talk the Rod Serling's famous TV series, the one he created just for our pleasure and pleasure alone, because we like the little people. Jacob, Triv are back.
Little cars. Little cars for little people.
Exactly.
Right. What do you mean, you little people? Do I need to pull out my nunchucks and beat you with
This just happened to be on my desk too. I did not put this here for this episode. I don't know why there are the two Game of Life pieces on my desk, but they're there.
Man, yeah, this is just
Jacob game afterwards.
You know what? The Twilight Zone exists on Jacob's desk, and it's like, what's Jake gonna find today?
Q-tip?
No, thank you. I've had 3 today.
She's had 3 Q-tips.
Yep.
3 Q-tips.
Yep, 3. It's a good fiber.
Wow.
Anyway.
Wow. So how you guys doing? How's life in the Twilight Zone?
I had a really good bag of apple cinnamon pretzels.
You keep mentioning these, and I gotta find Aldi that has these because I want them now.
They're really good. I'll send you some.
I have like an Aldi like 10 minutes from me, unless they probably don't have it. It is Florida.
There's nothing 10 minutes from me. There's like a field.
When Jacob goes out, he goes out on his rocket with his co-pilot and then murders a bunch of little people in the process. That's how this works, people. You get to murder the little people. Think of what you want.
Me and my goats, my dogs, and my chickens.
All you need is a cow and you'll be set.
Here's coming. My goats are always like, ah! They really are.
I can bet.
Up in my yard, you just hear, ah! I talked to him.
I was watching a video. I was watching a YouTube video of like this guy working on his car, and it sounded like a woman was screaming in the house. So they called the police officers over, and it was actually his parakeet.
Oh,
his goat. Yeah, his goat screaming like a woman. He's like, "Save me!"
They do. Goats sound like a person, like maybe a kid, like screaming. They literally, he just randomly always. I'll be outside and hear ah. Ah, and I'll walk up and go ah, and he'll go ah, and then he smiles.
The question is, are you properly translating their dialogue, or do you have a weird dialect?
No idea.
All right, so we're here talking another episode of the Twilight Zone. I think, is that what we do on this podcast? I think we don't tangent at all.
We're more tangent than anything.
Yeah, right. So anyways, we are talking a new episode. That episode, of course, is season 3, episode 28, which is called The Little People. It is directed by William F. Claxton, written by Rod Serling. Production code 4822. Original air date March 30th, 1962. Stars Peter Craig and William Fletcher. Or no, I'm sorry, that's not right. Stars Joe Maross and Claude Akins. Because apparently I'm not reading this properly tonight because it's 11 o'clock at night where I'm at.
Yeah.
Speaking to Deutsch.
Speaking to Deutsch.
I'm doing the Stan Makita at the drive-thru. I would like that. And you want 2 crawlers, a coffee, and a kick in the nuts. Yeah,
Nuts.
exactly. So I'll get this other way now because I know Jacob likes this. This episode was homage, inspired, an episode of The Simpsons,
A
Treehouse of Horrors.
Horror.
Is a missing beaver. Trevor, missing beaver. You all right over there with your missing beaver?
Yep.
It happens.
Was it Harry when you found it? Your missing
No.
beaver?
Not last time I checked.
No, this episode is definitely one that a lot of people do know. It's an episode that I know, especially from the Genesis tub, which is a Simpsons Treehouse of Horror episode from season 8. But this episode, I don't know how you guys feel about it, but we'll talk about it. But it's an episode that
there's stuff I want to talk about first.
kicked it.
Admittedly, I haven't watched The Simpsons since I was in like middle school. Really, it's a great show, but I just haven't watched it in that long. I watched it a lot back then. Is the Treehouse of Horror? I'm not as familiar with. I know what it is, but I'm not as familiar with it. Is it just like fucking Twilight Zone episodes redone?
There are if you go through the early
it's not even
seasons,
funny anymore.
well, no, if you go through the early seasons, for instance, season 1 has a To Serve Man spoof. Season 8 has like what we're talking about now, the Little People. There's one with the Killer Clown, which is a spoof of the Living Doll. There's other ones. So yeah, I mean they borrow from like Edgar Allan Poe, as I showed Trip today. They borrow from Twilight Zone. They borrow from The Outer Limits. They borrow from.
There's one go low budget horror too. There's all kinds.
Yeah, there's one where Bart is the kid from what's the one? It's a Good Life. Yeah, they do it all the time. Yeah, because they get their inspiration from shit like that.
One other thing that this takes inspiration, or that this inspired, there was an episode of Futurama, which I know same creators and such, but it was the Parasite Lost, where Fry eats like a bad, I think it was egg salad sandwich, and gains like an entire ecosystem inside of him and makes him super smart and stuff.
Yeah, that was a good episode actually.
That was awesome.
There's also what's the Love, Death, and Robots?
Oh yeah,
it was similar. I mean,
they do Twilight Zone.
Little People. Spin. A little. There's one. The one with, I think, was it Jesse Eisenberg and shit. What's the chick from? She's in the Ahsoka show. Mary Elizabeth Winstead.
Yeah,
I think it was those two. No, it wasn't. Or was it Topher Grace? I think it was Topher Grace. I don't know, but they like have like this Little People like world in their freezer. So that sounds about right. I haven't seen any Love, Death, and Robots, but I would make sense if they did one. I can't believe you haven't watched that. You should watch that.
You absolutely should watch that.
Like that. This one was actually live action, except it was just a whole bunch of CGI with the Little People, and you never saw the Little People. You saw like their world, like from our perspective, but you never saw the Little People.
There's the little stop motion one too, where it's like micro. Oh god. It's like micro world type of a thing. I think that was Love, Death, and Robots.
Micro world?
Or yeah, like where you see like it's I think it's Night of the Living Dead, but it's done stop motion. Let me look it up quick.
I mean, you can look at anything. Like Black Mirror is definitely inspired by Twilight Zone with like, some of the episodes that they do, and yeah, it's I always bring up The Simpsons because I always see these episodes. I'm like, oh my god, that's what Simpsons spoofed. And that's just kind of where I lie when it comes to spoofing a series, because Twilight Zone is so influential.
I vaguely remember
Night of the Mini Dead is what it was called.
Yeah, I kind of remember that. I remember that being a thing, but I don't remember the specifics about it.
It was done in 2022, so last year. Anyway,
so this is an episode that, once again, I don't think is like the greatest episode in the world, but I do think it's a fun episode. I think they do what they can with the limited budget / 1960s time frame that they have to deal with when it comes to portraying who these little people are. It definitely struggles like in the middle there when it kind of shows you the little people, because you don't see any of the little people. You just kind of hear like a little talking, kind of that type of thing. But I don't know. I mean, is this an episode that you guys remember very well after watching it? Like, how do you guys feel about this episode, just kind of on a basis of going into it?
Yeah, once it got rolling, I knew where it was going. It's not one like offhandedly with the name. I thought it was a different one, but No, absolutely knew it well once it got rolling. So
I didn't remember this episode when it started, and I never like totally like remembered it, but there were like aspects of it I was kind of like, this seems familiar. Like when he walked up, like after the opening narration, I was like, I think he's like found this civilization, and that's what's going on here. Like, so I know I've seen it, but I never like full on remember. Oh yeah, I remember this, but like there were aspects of it that I was like, that's familiar. The end wasn't. I didn't remember the end. I thought
Yeah,
it would be
that's
something else that happened there at the end.
right. It has an interesting twist at the end. Actually, you know what episode this reminded me of, Triv, is the one with the couple in the town that's empty, and it kind of has that same ending with the two kids.
yeah, no, that's what I thought
I
this
kept
one was when it started.
And I keep forgetting that's like season 5.
Ah, okay.
But it kind of has the same feel, like not really the same feel, but it kind of has the same ending to it.
Yeah, it's kind of got a similar vibe going.
Yeah. It's I mean, it's an episode where two people have to like do a lot of heavy lifting, which is, I mean, when you think about it, they have to kind of like go against a small civilization that nobody ever sees really well outside of a few like static shots. And I think they do the best they can with it, but once again, it's very 1960s with, for instance, when it opens up with the ship, and the ship is like very much out of like what is it, shot an arrow into the air, Forbidden Planet, or
it's like the same. It's probably their stock one that they use across the board, really.
Yeah, and like I think we've talked about this before, but the astronaut suits in the 1960s TV series and films and stuff like that, they're always like this like weird put together, I don't know, contraption of parts and pieces that they find around the studio. It's like he's wearing a football helmet at some point.
Oh, honey.
Character.
I'm just going to tell you now, you get into the B movie realm and they make these look positively professional.
Oh, I'm sure. I don't disagree with that. I just it you know what it does? It reminds me of those pictures that you see of like what we think of the future, the 1960s version of the 1980s and 90s. And there's something charming and something kind of alluring about that, because it feels like a I can't remember what it's like, a futurism or something like that, where there's like a really cool allure to the idea of like families in space living on the moon, living with these like in glass bubble houses and stuff like that. And that's what these I know, Jacob, you're a big fan of these space episodes, as you've said before in the past.
Yeah.
And I just kind of love it's cheesy, it's cheeky, it's fun, but there's an era of foreboding, as you could tell from the moment this episode starts. And I don't know what you guys think about that, but I find that kind of like a charming look into a 1960s view of like space travel, I guess is what you could say.
As soon as it started and they were climbing out of a spaceship or right next to a spaceship, I was like, oh yeah, this is one of mine. It's been a while since we haven't been to space in a while.
Oh, I know, it's crazy.
Yeah, I think it's
probably
like
season 2.
Hey, you know what? At least this time they're not on an asteroid with an atmosphere and breathable air. So there's that.
I'm kind of curious if somebody almost died of drinking chocolate milk, because it's filmed in Death Valley again. So
there wasn't a lot of trivia on this.
No, the only reason I knew, like I said, I know I bring up The Simpsons a lot, but the only reason I knew that is because I'm like, oh, that's the episode Lisa, creating a world in a tub. It's just like, but there's no trivia about like where this inspired and anything about it, as you said. There's probably nothing even in the book.
I would imagine that it probably, Gulliver's Travels was probably the thing it was based off.
And they even they even mention it.
Yeah.
What, Gulliver's Travels? Because they do the little thing with like when they bring down the statue at the end, they have like the ropes and stuff like that. But it's just, I'm curious if they.
I was reading on that note. I was reading here. It said that a lot of the footage in Death Valley was filmed 2 years earlier for season 1.
Really?
Yeah.
Nice.
I don't know if all of it was. I may have still filmed it in Death Valley, but like a lot of the actual footage of Death Valley, it says it had originally been filmed 2 years earlier for season 1 episode. I shot an arrow into the air.
Ah, well, it makes sense to keep it on hand.
So I think
because this one was. Sorry, go ahead.
No, go ahead.
I was just gonna say, like, just from a prop perspective, there was a fair amount of stuff that they had to. Even though there's only 2 actors, like the prop budget on this must have been pretty big.
Most of it came from Forbidden Planet.
Yes,
which is kind of like Twilight Zone's go-to movie.
Also, I love the moon boots, like this, like the different color moon boots from the rest of the outfit. I had to laugh at that. That was cool.
Yeah, it's I was trying to think if The Martian was filmed in the Death Valley, but I guess it was filmed in Budapest and Jordan and stuff like that. But I get why they do Death Valley because it's very alien in nature. It's you could try and film in the jungle in the 60s, but it'd be like, they probably do sound stages. So this probably makes it, much easier. There's probably not a lot of sandstorms that go on, so they can have a lot of time to, record and stuff like that. And I don't know, when the episode opens up, when they're getting off, I just like the fact that like these two characters, Fletcher's kind of like, we need to get off this planet. And Craig's like, I don't want to eat anything. And Fletcher's giving him a tongue lashing about, you eat what you eat and blah, 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 blah. And it's just, I love that these characters don't really, they're pretty much set on their path of like who they are from the get-go. He just wants everything handed to him, and William Fletcher's like, we need to get out of here, man. We need to go home or wherever they need to go.
A little entitled bitch.
Kind of, yeah. Well, and that was an interesting point. Like, can you imagine? Because I mean, even then, they would have had to have known that to get any place was going to be like ages and ages and ages. It's not like a 20-minute hop across the galaxy, but you're stuck with this person that just, and I imagine on the ship he was probably the same, but just the most annoying person or completely opposite to your personality. And that's the only person you're going to talk to for months.
Bitching and moaning and whining.
Yeah.
How to get stuck with this guy.
But yeah, no, understandable. It's like you're on a ship. You have no women on the ship. It's two guys. I'm sure, who knows what goes on in the ship, and they can't, do anything. Yeah, exactly. But I mean, basically the first part is just them trying to figure out how to repair the ship. The ship's broken. They're on an alien planet, and they hear tiny little people before Rod Serling comes on and tells us our opening narration.
The time is the space age. The place is a barren landscape of rock-walled canyon that lies millions of miles from the planet Earth. The cast of characters, you've met them. William Fletcher, commander of the spaceship. His co-pilot, Peter Craig. The other characters who inhabit this place you may never see, but they're there, as these two gentlemen will soon find out. Because they're about to partake in a little exploration into that gray-shaded area in space and time that's known as the Twilight Zone.
Yeah, bow.
Good opening.
Good old
Good
William
opening.
Fletcher and Peter Craig. Two men having sexy time on a ship. Now they're angry.
They're manly men. The men in tights.
One's the dominant guy. The other's the butch or the bitch.
Craig is definitely the bitch.
I just want to say, and
bottom.
this is more down the way a bit, but the fact that his helmet, like because I kind of missed the names of these guys at first, and he comes up in it says Craig across the top of his head. I was just like,
it's like written in Sharpie too.
Yeah.
It's not even like,
it kind
I
of
don't
felt
think
like
NASA
that.
sanctioned that or whoever.
I was like, dude,
I mean, it's a
can you
football
imagine-
helmet.
And it's
Can
on
you imagine
sideways.
just it's just weird.
It's like a helmet that he has because he's a special kid and he's gonna bump his head in his soft spot or
right. He's all like, I'm Craig.
something. Hey guys.
Have you seen my baseball?
Shit. Off the
Frank
Craig
and Beans.
reporting.
Franks and beans.
Craig and Beans.
You got beans over the
Your
frame.
your beans are over your Franks.
This is
Oh
all
my
getting
God.
cut.
No, I'll probably leave it in. I just like how the best thing about sci-fi in the 1960s is the weapons. And he has like that toy gun. He's just like do.
From the
It's like
Forbidden
almost
Planet, by the way.
yeah, I'm sure. They hear the noises, and then it cuts to commercial, or it cuts to Rod Serling. Then it comes back, and Fletcher's been sleeping or whatever. He wakes up. He's like, "Where's Craig at? I need my bottom. Where's Craig at? I need my
Oh
bottom."
my God.
Craig.
And Craig comes over. He's like,
Where'd that
he's
bitch
like, "Where have
Craig?
you been at? I've been
Where you been,
looking
ho?"
for my bottom." And Craig's like, "I've been nowhere." He's like, "Aren't you thirsty?"
You've been letting them
You
little
know,
fuckers
'cause-
call on your ass, haven't you?
Come in the
Just be
cave.
careful.
It's nice and
Going
warm
all
in
the
the
boys
cave.
season 3.
Oh Jesus.
Hopefully, one can't
Don't
grow to be
sneeze.
big. It's the Thanos thing. Yeah, man. But Craig's like, "Oh, I'm not thirsty." He's like, "I like whiskey or wine or whatever he likes." Like,
Whiskey. I'm a whiskey babe myself.
Yep.
yeah. And it's just like, Fletcher knows what's up, and a little box drops out of his pocket or whatever, and he picks it up. He's like, "There's moss in here. It's wet." It's like, "What have you been doing?"
Like green sticky.
All I can
Yeah.
say
Where'd
is
you
that
get this?
it kind of felt like he found weed. Like that's kind of
I know. It's like it's soft and sticky.
I found
Yeah.
the stash, man.
I don't know.
Where's the pipe?
Why do you have wraps in your pocket? Why do you have a lighter? Over here. I have my penis stretcher radio. I'm like, what do you have?
You're what?
Oh, I have
Did
trees.
you
What?
say your penis stretcher radio?
The little device that's sitting on the table looks like a penis stretcher or something. Like, I
And
don't
do you
know.
have
It's just-
personal
penis stretcher look
experience
like?
with a penis stretcher?
I don't know. It's the 1960s.
Folks,
like-
we've learned new things about Nick.
All right, yeah, we got to see this.
Have you seen
Oh,
Antiques
God.
Roadshow? You don't think I
No.
have hidden stuff on purpose? Do you? It was on the
There's
Antiques
the
Roadshow.
penis stretchers on Antique Roadshow.
Yeah,
I
well,
have a
that
hard
may have
time
been a
believing
Pornhub.
that.
Maybe on X Video or Pornhub or something like that. Antique hard-ons.
The new genre on
Uh,
Pornhub.
I mean, yeah, Rule 34. So, anyways,
When is it? Like that part where he's like looking, like
yeah, there's like a device on there. I was like,
Oh, is
this
that the
like a
thing
weird-
that he uses to look at all the
yeah,
small
it
stuff?
stretches penis.
No. Only in your case.
No, it's a radio. It's like a radio or some kind of like he has a microscope or
that
something
really
on it.
big thing. That really
It's
big
like an
thing he was
R2D2
working
or
on?
something like that.
There was some trivia about that. Hang on here. Let's see here.
He's like, he gives a tongue lashing, and then he's like, he wonders
Oh, it
what
was
makes him tick so
originally
loudly. What
it
does he
was
hunger
or-
for most?
the
Hunger
big
for
thing with the
penis
dome.
stretchers.
Yeah.
I'm just joking. I know
I
it's not a
wouldn't put
penis
my
stretcher.
penis in that.
I mean, it has a little knob on
Looks
the
like a
side. It has a
Cuisinart.
little, turn thing.
The Vitamix.
The Vitamix.
Like the thing that's on the back of the DeLorean.
Right.
Actually, it was
Back to
it was
the Future.
crafted. It was another piece that was crafted for the Forbidden Planet. Let's see.
A penis stretcher.
Yes, absolutely.
It is the Forbidden Planet. I mean,
It was originally built. Its purpose is currently unknown. So
no,
it
it's
could
no.
be
Oh, I'm sure it's known.
as
We
he
now
takes
know.
a slow sip from his cup. Have you been experimenting with that, Nick, without telling us?
You don't know what I do in my spare time.
Yeah, I don't
I'm
want
like
to know what
Craig.
you
I'm
do
having
with
sexy
your
time with
spare-
little people.
Oh God.
No,
The penis stretcher
I
turns
do
little
like
people into big people. At least the men.
1 inch at a time.
I stretch them out. They go.
So they're balloon animals.
Sure. We'll go with that. I like how the fact that there's two suns, and all I could think of was, is this Tatooine? The two suns on Tatooine,
Yeah, they're in
I don't
Beggar's
know.
Canyon.
right? Yeah, because the little people are actually just Mos Eisley. The cantina is just far away.
It does make you wonder, though, knowing how this thing ends and seeing the two suns, like how that relates, like what it actually is.
Well, that's what like the ending kind of brings up, like the whole idea and concept of like what exactly it's like. I know I keep going back to other properties, other movies, but I don't know if it's
Like
the end of Men
Treehouse
in
of
Black. The penis house of horror. No, I think it
Peanut
was like
shop
Men
of
in Black.
horrors, Bounty Bow. Peanut shop of terrors. Oh.
There you go. Ah.
Doop-dap-doop.
Oh.
Ah, it's stuck. Ah.
But no, back to what I was saying.
Oh
my gosh. No, it reminds me of like Men in Black 2 at the end when they open up, they're Tommy
The
Lee Jones and
marbles?
Will Smith are talking, and then like the locker opens up and it's like a whole different world. So like, is this like that where there's like a world
Hey.
within a world within a world? It's like, and then
It's a
and
world
then,
inception. A
and
worldception.
then.
Yeah,
I know,
exactly.
right? Yeah, we learned that Craig's must be a camel because he's not drinking any water because he's a whiskey man. And they argue again, but a can drops to the ground. It has trees in it, has water, and it's a grassy malcontent. So there you go. That's the end of the
Oh,
episode.
grousey.
It's a grassy
no,
malcontent.
Yeah, grousey malcontent.
Mm-hmm.
Grassy.
Grousey.
Closing narration.
Grousey.
The case of Navigator Peter Craig, a victim of delusion.
Of course, they pull out Jacob's game of life feast or whatever, and it has in the cloth, and it's a little
And it's like
tiny
the
truck,
size of it's like the size of a sprinkle.
right? I'm like, man,
Looks like a grain of
can you
rice.
imagine- it's the truck from Beetlejuice. Maybe Alec Baldwin's in there. You don't know. You don't know people. You don't
You're
know what
right,
they
we
do.
don't.
But they walk in a canyon. There's a tiny little people world with boats and I'm sure porn and whatever little people
A
do.
little
And I'm
porn.
kind of wondering. I'm kind of wondering, is this like us? Is this like Earth? Is the God we see Craig?
Oh God,
The
no.
Frank the
Oh,
Beans.
Craig. Jesus
I
Christ.
will say I did really appreciate, and I know it was the 60s and they could only do what they could do, but I thought they did a really decent job, like trying to do a good job with it. Like they didn't they played
They
to
did a
their
really good
strengths.
job of trying to do a good job. Of it.
Sorry,
Craig,
that was
damn
really
it.
stupid. But you know what I mean? They knew their limits and they didn't they played into what they could do.
They
Yeah.
only could afford some static shots from space, apparently.
They
Like,
did
I
a
don't
lot
know
of
how they got
static
those.
shots in the Twilight Zone. You
Yeah,
know,
right.
like you
Yeah.
guys couldn't run like 3 seconds of looped footage, maybe. Well, it was harder back
Well, I
then.
like how he puts his foot over like this town or whatever, and there's just a car just static there. It's just not even moving. But you can hear all the little people freaking out and stuff like that.
It's moving really.
I mean, what
slow.
do you guys think about like that reveal? Like the idea of like there's a tiny world on this planet. Like, is this like our planet? Is this like what flat earthers want? This
Well-
flat society. Like, I don't know. What do you
I
guys
will
think about
say
that?
this. I will say this. Is this a center for ants? It needs to be at least 3 times larger.
I will say the only thing I kept thinking about, because they're like rolling around and walking around and stomping around this little community. Is this like the only community on this entire planet? It looks like they're pretty like they're up to our point as far as like where they are in their evolution with like the harbors and the boats and all that. We look pretty far along. Have they not expanded out beyond this one little patch right here? Like
Well,
all
it's
that
So
like-
you see like
area around-
little tiny what are they called, like wagons and like oxen like traveling across the ground.
Well, you know what, Jake? It's like you. There's nothing within 10 miles of them.
Well, I mean, that little patch that they're walking around in would probably be like 1,000 miles to them.
Yeah.
Well, yeah,
you know,
like
you know
it's
how you talk about them stomping around. I mean, with what happens later, they kind of treat it, generally speaking, with the same abandon as the things at the end.
can you imagine just like being one of those little people and also see a gigantic person? Like you see what happens when like somebody gets let off, like the judge releases like a cop or whatever, and like everybody riots. And here, like this tiny people are seeing this gigantic 1,000-foot like size man or whatever, and they don't seem to be rioting. They don't seem to be doing anything or scared. It's just like until he steps on them to like adhere
His
his like
space boots.
dominance or whatever.
Well, like
Yeah.
it says though, they're seeing him as a god because he's so damn big.
Yeah, they built him a sand sculpture.
Is that what that was?
Or something?
I'm-
They built a sculpture.
Yeah, it was like a rock
Yeah.
sculpture.
Yeah,
Yeah.
fair. Yeah. I just wasn't sure what it was. I mean, yeah, it doesn't matter what it was made of, but
We need to have the Death Star conversation
Paper
with that
mache.
sculpture. The Death Star clerks off discussion. How many people were killed when that sculpture collapsed?
hope they're not scared of heights.
I mean, yeah, probably. They probably have like little what are those machines? They go up.
Oh, scissors lift.
Yeah, they have scissors.
Oh, scissor lift.
They're like
They have,
they're like
cranes.
the what are the little people from the Grinch It's Still Christmas. They
Munchkins.
live in a
Oh.
snowflake.
Who's?
Yeah. They're
Who
like
was
they like have the crazy machines that do outrageous things without any physics to
I
support.
got some crazy machines that do outrageous things. It's in a drawer upstairs. In
It's not a
box.
Vitamix, is it?
They spin
No.
around and go. You just
Some
watch
of them have
you watch little
batteries,
planks
some of
going
them
up
don't.
the
I mean, I'm
thing.
glad you guys are able to enjoy those too.
Well, I mean,
not
when in
just for
Rome.
me.
Oh man.
Got one down.
He's going off to get one. He's like, let me show
Well,
you.
okay, think about all the stuff that Jake has on his desk. There's a good chance that he has at least one battery operated thing that could bring that kind of, enjoyment.
So I mean, yeah. So we get little people. We get guy who wants to be a monotheistic. Jesus Christ. He wants to be a monotheistic ruler. He's basically a
A
tyrant.
ruler?
Yeah, ruler. And he gets into it with Fletcher. Tells him to leave. He's like, you need to leave. You need to go home. You need to get off this
Go
rock.
to your home. Don't you
Get on
have a
out
home?
It's actually a pretty simple episode. The fact that it took 24 minutes is actually now in retrospect. I'm kind of like, not a whole lot happened, but it was
Yeah.
pretty to the point.
Well, you could even
Yeah, it's
take
like-
it. You got the two guys. You could say it's a battle of good versus evil to some extent if you wanted to go that route.
But definitely
Yeah,
it's
it's a
kinda like
battle
very
of,
much
like-
as devil and God.
Yeah. Well, they even bring
Yeah.
it up.
God.
I do enjoy a good God.
He's on a mission from God.
He's on a mission
They
from
got-
God.
They got a pack of cigarettes, a full tank of gas, and
And
they're
it's
wearing
got half a
shades.
pack of cigarettes, a full tank of gas, half a pack of cigarettes. It's dark, and we're wearing shades. Let's hit it.
Yep.
Oh man. I mean, you could look at it as like Pirates in
I'm like Minty from Minty Comedic Arts now. I'm the only one.
I can't put on glasses.
Are
unless
you
they're
are you the
pre-programmed.
goose to our maverick there, Jacob?
Huh? Is it good? Yeah.
Are you the
yeah.
goose to our maverick?
I'm the
He is
Wearing
the highway to
aviators.
the danger zone.
I'm the cock.
You
got the high-
lost the penis stretcher. Oh, the penis
Oh.
stretcher.
Wow, this got the
You
video quick,
lost
didn't
the
it?
penis stretcher. Now you're fly acid. Oh,
Okay. Well, ladies and gentlemen, this has been an insight into Nick. Stay tuned for more of that, I guess.
Yeah, exactly. This is when we really lose people. Oh man. No, so he tells Fletcher to leave. He's like, leave, let me be my own god and demon. And he takes out the weapon and he shoots his own statue, which falls, and eventually picks it up and is wearing his Frankenbeans Craig hat. The guy leaves.
He was right though,
Fletcher
man. Even if you are in charge of all these people, who the fuck? Even somebody with some superiority like God complex like this guy, you got to know that you will be absolutely all alone all that time.
Oh yeah.
And he's just like
Well-
cool with it. He's so power hungry.
because he has food. They'll make him food and give him water. He's like Hopper from A Bug's Life. He's
They gonna
always
make him
gonna
a big
be
woman.
yeah,
Exactly.
make him a woman.
Well, and here's the thing too, like any if you're gonna expect people to put all their resources into feeding you, like they're gonna expect things in return, and you really can't. Fear will only take them so far.
Yeah, but I don't think he thinks. I don't think he's a very
No,
smart
no,
guy for a guy
no.
that's an astronaut. He's not a very smart guy.
And he's a navigator, so he's got expertise. But then outside of that, he's yeah.
Do you think he was on a flight of the Navigator?
No, he was.
If you want to learn how to swim, you must jump in the water. Don't forget to feed Bruiser. I didn't know that movie way too well.
He's a slob with a slide
The movie
rule.
that doesn't have Pee Wee Herman in it is clearly Pee Wee Herman. So Fletcher leaves. We hear the ship fly off, and of course, Craig's like, "I'm gonna step on you, and I'm gonna throw my statue on you. You're gonna do my bidding, and build me another statue now." And he hears noises.
Make me
Lots
a
and lots of
sandwich,
noises that-
bitch.
Right,
little
lots and lots
bitty
of
bitty
noises that make him and my cat jump under the bed.
Aw.
I mean, that's what happens when you get loud, high pitched noises.
Did you
True.
guys remember the ending when it was coming up? Like, did you know?
Yeah, I
it-
knew the ending. Like I've seen this episode many
Yeah,
times, but
same.
I thought it was just gonna be like some alien or something show up and take it from him, which I mean, kind of is what happened. But I like the ending that they played out better. I mean, the effects are they are what they are, but
you think it would have been better if they did a Gulliver's Travels type of thing and had like all the little people like attack him and kill him and stuff?
well, I thought
would've been hard to
something
do,
like that
though.
was going to happen, and I do think that had what happened not happened, eventually that probably would have happened.
Yeah, no, agreed.
Well, it also brings up the implications of like as Triv you said earlier, like, okay, so the end of this episode is, he hears noises, and then of course he looks up and there's gigantic people staring down at him, and they pick him up and crush him by accident, and then of course the little people throw the statue on him, which I thought was pretty. I like that little touch with the little ropes and the statue falling to the ground, but it brings up that implication, Triv, that you were talking about. Like, where is this in the scheme of things? Like, this guy is like, are these other aliens that we see, the gigantic guys, are they just another species of gigantic people, or is this just another small world on a planet that inhabits this one guy? And Fletcher's just like, you see the little Fletcher rocket just flying by with these little people. It just never. I'm just curious what the implications of that is.
Well, I mean, if they saw that, like the rocket fly by with Fletcher in it, they probably would look at it the way we look at a fly. Because in theory, it's not that much bigger generally. I mean, perspective kind of, or the size kind of changes based on what they're doing. Like it's not consistent scale, but like generally, I think they'd probably, I mean, a hummingbird at best as far as the size of it.
Well, also like, you know, like he hears the noise and he goes, "It's just another ship," and I'm like, "Is that not concerning to you?" Like, we're led to believe, at least I thought, that we had not yet made. This is the first alien contact we've made.
Mhm.
And like, so he's just like, "Oh, it's another ship. It's probably not one of his own ships." Is he not kind of like, "What the fuck is it? Who's it going to be?" Is it? He's just kind of like, "Ah, it's just another ship. Is an alien."
But don't
No
you think
biggie.
that his like the whole God complex he had going, like
Yeah,
he
probably.
had gotten himself into such a delusional state about how great of importance that he had, and he didn't really do anything to earn it. I would assume that he probably just had that whole like, hell, I can take him. You know, I'll just set my workforce of tiny people to take care of this for me.
My aunts.
Literally.
Yeah, I like how the two gigantic people are like, we just need to fix our ship, put them back down. They throw them back down on the ground, and little rocks just fall on
All
them
the
and stuff
rocks
like
in
that.
it, yeah. Good
Yeah, I
touch
was like,
there.
that's pretty funny. But it like reminds me of like the invaders or something like that, or that episode that we're going to talk about later on, or the implications of like what exactly is the normal world like in relations
Well,
is
normal is
those gigantic.
perspective. Normal is
Yeah,
perspective here, like that. Where whatever your perspective is.
I mean, is that world that he like tries to destroy or tries to make his own, him being a god? Is there a world within that world? Like it's just like the whole implications of like space and in general, just like how big and vast and unknown and
Oh
I don't
yeah,
know.
no, agreed.
I don't know.
It does raise a lot of questions, and I mean, they're ones that for a 24-minute Twilight Zone episode, you really can't answer based on what's available. But it certainly
Mhm.
raises like those. It makes you think beyond that. So, and that question's been answered kind of on and off. I mean, you mentioned Men in Black, like with a galaxy on the neck of Orion, with the cat
Yeah,
and such. But then it gets
yeah.
bigger, and it's aliens playing marbles with our galaxy. So
Actually, Joe Maross was in Third from the Sun, and Claude Akins was one of the characters in Maple Monsters doing Maple Street. And rocket launch depicted was in reality a test flight of a Mercury Atlas booster.
ooh, cool.
So yeah.
Muy
Wow.
bien. Wow.
Wow. When Craig shows Fletcher the tiny village, his arm points out the landscape, and seconds later, steps next to Fletcher and does it again. Wow.
Nice little goof.
There's another one.
John DiMaggio was in Ice Age. I didn't have
What's
it.
that?
Do you know that the 22 stars around the Paramount logo are for the 22 like actors and actresses that originally signed with Paramount back in the day?
I did not know that, but now I
Yeah.
do. And knowing
Yeah.
is half
Did
the
you know
battle.
Did you know the penis stretcher was actually inspiration for Austin Powers' penis stretcher?
No,
Well,
I
now
do
you
not
do.
believe that.
There's a difference.
Yeah, get it straight, man.
Very different.
You do
Oh,
not
they
compare
have.
your Florida-based peanut stretcher to a quality Swedish pump enlarger or penis
Pump
enlarger. Pump enlarger. Blech.
Oh.
Anyway.
John DiMaggio, he's Bender, right?
Yeah, he's Bender
Yeah.
and he's
There you go,
Finn,
Jason.
and is it Finn or whatever the dog is in Adventure Time? And
There's another reason. There you go to watch Ice Age, Nick.
I've seen Ice Age. I've seen all the Ice Ages.
No,
I've seen them all
the
multiple
show,
times too.
The episode of Love, Death, and Robots. It's like this episode.
I thought you were talking about Ice Age, like the one
No,
with
that's the name of the episode.
Ray
Ice
Romano.
Age. Tim Miller, John DiMaggio plays a construction worker, and Roger Craig Smith, whoever that is.
Oh, Roger Craig Smith. I know who he is. I think.
He's a voice actor.
Yeah, I
Chris
think he played
Redfield in the Resident Evil series.
Ezio Torre. Yeah, he played Ezio in Assassin's Creed and
Sonic the Hedgehog in the series of the same name.
yeah. Okay, so anyways, with that said, that is the end of the episode. That is the Little People. What do we think? Final thoughts.
I get no complaints. It was an interesting episode. I really enjoyed the Futurama episode that this influenced. So that it went in directions. It didn't go in the obvious direction, which was kind of awesome. The fact that they had to level up to the next giant people and stuff. It was solid. I thought it did well overall.
Yes, I did. I really like this. I like the space episodes, so it had me it had me from the rocket ship, the tip of the rocket. But I mean, it moved at a nice pace. I never felt like it drug. Craig gets a little kind of out there, but that's par for the course as far as the 60s and Twilight Zone. I like the night. It was a solid ass Twilight Zone episode. It was very, very Twilight Zone. It's what I love about the Twilight Zone, where it takes these kind of high concept ideas and situations and makes you actually think about them. Like if I explained this to someone, they'd be like, fuck. And like, it might actually seem comical, but like Twilight Zone will take it and actually roll up a morality tale within this high concept idea, and then give you a neat little twist ending in the end, which the twist ending, honestly, to these things is not always needed. It's just a nice little cap.
Yeah.
Because like, I feel like the morality of the tale has already been made by that point, but then they just come in with this cool little twist ending to twist the knife a little bit more. And that's what they did here.
Yeah,
this is very season 1. And I love season 1 of Twilight Zone. This is very season 1.
Yeah. The other thing is too, oh, go ahead, sorry.
Well, I was saying what they could have done is like had him starve to death, or had his skeleton sit there as another crew came into onto the planet because they need to fix their rocket, and they saw the skeleton there, and then they saw the little planet, like a kind of a was that a circle of some sorts, like a vicious cycle or whatever.
Yeah.
I honestly expected it to go the way I was expecting, was after, as soon as dude left and he's sitting there, he's like, all right, now I'm in charge. He'd have like that realization that, oh shit, I fucked up. And he's stuck there forever. And Rod will go off talking about the story about a little man over some little people.
Little man with a big
alone,
ego.
All alone in the Twilight Zone.
Well, and the nice thing about this episode was, we're at that point where there are certain themes that kind of repeat. I don't feel like, you could say that there are things about this episode that have been seen in other episodes, but overall the concept and everything that goes on in it is very unique.
Yeah. And I mean, for me, the biggest thing, and I know I said it, is it did this very much harkened back to season 1. And like if you plop this in the middle of season 1, it would be very at home.
Yeah.
And I love that. Just kind of, we haven't had an episode like this in a while. We had some good episodes, don't get me wrong, but this is just very, ooh yeah, this is what made the Twilight Zone. I'm not saying this would be like if this wasn't season 1, it wouldn't necessarily be top 10. Maybe, I don't know, but it'd definitely be on up there. It would just be one of those ones that you're like, I see why the show got picked up. I see why.
It's like, it's in the vein of The Lonely almost.
Yeah.
If you think about
and
it.
I shot an arrow into the air, which is where some of the stuff was recorded, and all those really neat, like just high concept ideas that they try and put a human touch to, a bit of morality. I like it a lot.
I don't really have anything negative to say about it. It's it's pretty Twilight Zone. There's nothing really wrong with it. It's just, if they probably could have done something a little bit better with the ending, but like I said, I can't, after Persons or Persons Unknown or something like that, it's been, it's been a pretty decent, like, last few episodes, Little Girl Lost and, stuff like that. And it's just, it's
I
not
like
a bad
the ending.
episode.
I thought the ending was pretty good. Like I said, it wasn't what I was expecting. Maybe you guys felt differently because you knew it was happening. I was expecting something else. I like the ending. Once again, it's got that cheeky feel the Twilight Zone used to always have.
Mm-hmm.
The end of every episode of the Twilight Zone back in like season 1 and some of 2, especially 1, things kind of changed around season 2. Like it got a little bit more serious, but like these episodes, it's serious. It's got some serious tones, but it doesn't take itself too crazy serious. It's still got like that dark sense of humor and that sense of fun. And that's what I liked about this whole episode, but the ending especially. It's just so out there, but it at the same time makes sense.
I wonder, and this is a really random tangent, but like there's the was it Village of the Giants? But around this time you get like Attack of the 60-Foot Woman, Village of the Giants, some of those, like those where you've got like normal sized people, and then you get like, there's they eat some goo or they do something weird, and all of a sudden they're, monstrous. Yeah. This kind of has that feeling, not quite on that level, but just that
a little bit of a camp,
hugely camp, yeah, in
the
controlled way.
Twilight Zone and those things, and those had their messages too. but Twilight Zone will have that camp, but then it'll insert a little bit of it'll actually make you think. It'll ask you some questions. It won't just go with the camp. It'll have the camp, but then it'll be like, hey, while we're here, have you thought about this? And like it'll give you a little bit more to chew on,
Very
but
true.
still be that campy, good fun.
Yeah, exactly. I agree. Yeah. No, it's like I said,
Number five?
it's a very what's that?
I said so. Number 5.
Number 5. Number 20.
And it was fun.
Number
This
28.
was a fun episode, I thought.
Very much. Yeah.
And we've had a lot of episodes that were good, but I wouldn't necessarily call them fun. Like as of late, I feel like looking
it's been a
back
hot minute.
at some point, I would like us to go back and just kind of like say, okay, now that we've watched all the seasons, maybe, I mean, haha ranking, but like, talk about, what was our favorite seasons and rank the seasons, if you will.
Ah,
Season 1 still as a whole, I don't know which one, like if we look at our top 10, I don't know what season has the most episodes in it at this point, but in the top 10, but season 1 still holds like a special place in my heart. And it's just, I feel like almost every episode in season 1, for better or worse, was just fun. It was still really fun, and I was excited every time I turned it on. Not to say I'm not now, but it's not the same.
And that's kind of the passing of time, though, too. It's not that the shyness come off of it, but you're used to what the Twilight Zone has to offer.
Sure.
And again, those messages kind of, and there's nothing you can do about it. The messages do repeat to some extent.
They do, but I still feel like, and sure, when I first started started rewatching these, there's of course kind of a ooh and ah to it that's not there now as much, but it still is. Like those episodes, I think back to a lot of those episodes, and they just had a different feel overall. Like I feel like when they wrote those, it was just kind of like we are writing what the hell we want, how we want it, just because nothing over, like no execs over them or anything. They're doing it because they love it and they wanted to. And of course, then season 2 and 3 and 4 and all those come up, and then you're on deadlines and all this, and you're having to worry about one-upping the last thing and all this and that. And I feel like season 1 just didn't have all that pressure.
Oh,
they were just writing stories that they wanted to tell.
We got Serling unleashed.
Yeah, and that's what this one seemed. It really reminded me more of season 1 than any episode in quite a while.
So season 1 on our list, there's only 5 episodes in the top 20. I think is if I read that right. Yeah, there's only 5. There's 5 episodes in the top 20. They're season 1.
But I bet if you look at the bottom 20, I bet there's fewer season 1 episodes there than there is of the other seasons. I mean,
there's
1 season, but
16 millimeter Shrine. Where's Everybody? Judgment Night. Mighty Casey is the bottom 10. So that's
we put the Mighty Casey in the bottom 10.
Really?
I feel like that one got.
Well, it's number 80 on our list.
I feel like it's one of those ones that got like it was down there and it just kind of got stuck there in that limbo of like, well, I like this one above it more, and
it's
blah,
just
blah,
not
blah.
I'll be honest, it's just not a very good episode. That's just how I look at it. I mean, it's
not
better
amazing.
than 12 other episodes, but
it was. I think it was the first one that was like a straight comedy, if I remember correctly, right?
It was more sci-fi with elements of comedy. I mean, it did have some. There wasn't any great
goofy.
Moral. Yeah, no,
like
but there
oil
wasn't any
thing
great
behind him.
Yeah, no, I agree. I think that didn't have any great moral message. It was just there to be entertaining.
Yeah.
I mean, Purple Testament was hilarious,
It's funny guy.
I try.
I don't know. Maybe I'm looking at it with
rose tinted glasses.
No, I think you make a
rose tinted glasses.
No, I think you make a good point, Jake. This episode did stand out as something different from what we've had as of the past several episodes. I mean,
it was a little bit more lighthearted.
Yeah.
Not to say that the message was, and I do agree with you. You brought up a great point that a lot of the messages in the Twilight Zone, which is just, normal, they get repeated here or there, maybe in different ways, having a different way of communicating it to us, but this was a fresher message, I thought. And I don't know, it felt like something we haven't had in a while, and it was very refreshing in that way for me. So number 3.
Hey, like I said, I don't have any major problems with it. Just being a typical Twilight Zone episode.
I have a feeling I liked it more.
You may have liked it more. It doesn't mean it isn't like a not a good episode. It's an episode of the Twilight Zone. That's how I have to look at it.
He gonna throw like number 50 or some shit at me.
Oof.
Right. Number 30.
There you go.
No. This this will.
Anyways, so yeah, that's with that said, Jacob, hit us with the closing narration.
Oh yeah, sure. The case of Navigator Peter Craig, a victim of delusion. In this case, the dream dies a little harder than the man. A small exercise in space psychology that you can try on for size in the Twilight Zone.
Ooh.
Try on the penis stretcher in the Twilight Zone.
Don't do it, people.
No, avoid. Go for
Seems
the
like a horror
quality
show.
sweet. Go for the quality Swedish made pump.
So when we get T-shirts and we make them for like Patreon people, they can come up with, they can decide on Nan Adams was here, ran me over, Cuffs of Uranus, 3 eggs because fuck you, and penis stretcher for life. But yeah, that's season 3, episode 28, The Little People. And so with that said, we'll go ahead and hit into our last segment, which of course is the Twilight Zone ranking list, the greatest ranking list ever known to man, because I said so and Rod Serling didn't. All right. Top 30 episode.
Where are we starting?
Number 30. And I will say, yes, this is better than those 2 episodes. The one above it too.
Yay.
Where do you start, Triv?
Oh,
Theater.
fuck me sideways. Not literally, of course. That would be rude.
I would put this between 30 and 20. That's where I would put it.
I could see that. What was Once Upon a Time? I forget.
That's the Buster Keaton episode.
Oh, right. So offhandedly, I would say below the silence and above nothing in the dark.
What number is that?
21 and 22.
I would go like right below Nothing in the Dark. I really like
In
Nothing
the
in the Dark. Yeah, that's the Robert Redford episode.
Oh, with the old lady?
Yeah.
Yeah, this was better. I thought this was better than that. The silence was good, but I like this.
His vocal cords.
The silence had that classic Twilight Zone thing too. I liked it. I think I probably like this one ever so slightly more, probably because it was just in space.
Twilight Zone in space.
We're gonna see a running theme of just all space episodes are like right next to each other.
But I mean, I'd be okay. Once Upon a Time. Which one was that again? I know you
That
just
was
said
Buster Keaton.
Oh, I liked that one, but I don't. What's under that? Once Upon a Time, The Grave.
Yeah, with Lee Marvin and the knife.
Like a knife.
You guys like this more than The Grave, or less than The Grave?
This one is more fun
Like I
than the grave.
Like
But
I said, I would put this right below Nothing in the Dark, but that's me.
was A World of His Own. I always get that confused. Was that the tail end of season 1?
Yes, it
Or Rod Serling breaks the fourth wall.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't think it's better than that, personally.
Yeah, I that was a good one. I'd be somewhere between 19 and 21, or 19 and. I liked it more than Nothing in the Dark. I'm kind of on the same level as The Silence. I think they were similar. I liked it ever so slightly more than The Silence. I did like it more than Once Upon a Time, though. I did enjoy that one, and I liked it more than The Grave. But if it went right there in that 20-ish area, I'm not gonna fight anybody over it.
I'd be good at, I guess it'd be 19, 20.
I mean, I would go if we're going there. I'd probably go like right above Nothing in the Dark, but like I said, right below the Silence, because I think Silence is a better episode. But that's just me.
The 22.
Or it would be, yeah.
Yeah, 22. Like I said, I would put it under Nothing in the Dark, but that's like I said where I would land. But like I said, I'm not gonna.
That's not so. Yeah, it would be the new 22. I'm fine with that.
Yeah, I'm okay with
Do
that.
22.
Yeah.
Little penis stretcher. I almost just wrote penis stretcher. Jesus Christ. Has a bad influence.
Please put that. Please.
Well, I know
the little penis stretcher.
Every single one of these episodes we do, there's like some really random tangent. Like you could just name them like whatever random tangent we were on that week.
Well, I mean, first I gotta spell them correctly because like I've noticed like misspellings in my list that I put up on the YouTubes. Like I was like, oh, son of a bitch. I like miss there's like a week where I missed the episode before putting it in, and yeah, it gets crazy trying to keep
Oh, I
track of
bet.
everything. I blame
You
all
could
you
name
people.
these episodes just instead of like whatever the name of the episode that we're watching, put the one with the penis stretcher.
Yeah, it could be like a Friends thing. The one with the Eye of the Beholder penis stretcher. The one with the Invaders penis stretcher. Yeah, could do that.
The invading penis
Uh,
stretcher.
There you go.
The invading piece. The shelter penis stretcher.
Whatever we
Uh,
decide to tangent on this week, you just make a thing of it.
Yeah, we find like the craziest things to tangent about. And it's usually stuff that I just come out of nowhere with, like cups of Uranus, and I don't know what else I've come up with,
You're
but
kicking the nuts.
yeah, kicked in.
4 eggs because fuck you, or 3 eggs because fuck you.
Exactly. All right. So yeah, that sounds like a good spot. So with that said, new number 22 is The Little People. Number 1 is still Eye of the Beholder. Number 93, still Trouble with Templeton. Next episode.
Oh, you
apparently it's
forgot
not a
one.
very
You
good-
forgot one. You forgot one.
I was- Let's
Shit,
just
I
see if you
closed it.
remember which episode it is first.
Isn't it 74 now?
Nope.
73?
76. So it's going to be
Oh, is it
77.
76?
But
Oh, shit.
today it's 76 because it's the piano and
No, penis stretcher!
no, I wanted to go back. The penis stretcher in the house. And
I
also
like to think of-
special mention for Chance to Dream is out of the 20s and into the 30s now.
It was gonna happen eventually, Jacob. It was gonna happen
Yeah.
eventually. Until we get to season 4 where nothing hits the 30s. It's all gonna be bottom 80s.
I think season 4 is sounding great.
Just wait till you have to
Also,
watch
30
it.
episodes.
Jacob's gonna get in he's gonna get halfway through. He's like, good God, I have to watch another
I
hour
can't.
Twilight Zone.
I
Good
missed
God,
I
the
missed
fucking Jezebel. What the hell?
3.
Real quiet about these episodes. Just be like, yeah, I remember when that happened. Oh
He's gonna
yeah.
get to the last episode.
Let's talk about that
We're
next
gonna get to the
segment.
last episode. We're gonna look like
Start.
war-torn vets. We're gonna be like, we're gonna have like, torn up jackets and shirts, and like you're gonna have like flags in the background, and we're gonna have like makeup and shit just falling down our face, and it's gonna be like the worst thing
Damn.
ever. I can't remember. I think it was like Dan or something like that was talking about how there's only like 18 episodes, but I'm like, yeah, they're an hour a piece. He's like, well, that's only 18 hours. I'm like, well, season 3 and 5 and 1 to 2 are literally the same amount of hours, just more episodes. So
Twice as many, yeah.
Yeah.
but it's still
Ooh.
18 hours of podcasting or
fair.
whatever. But
How many episodes?
yeah,
Season?
so
4 or
yeah,
5?
yeah. What happened?
We shall face it forward.
Like 4 or 5 left in the season, right?
We're
32
heading
or
into
36.
season episode 29, so there's 36, so we got like 7 more episodes
No,
or 8 more episodes. So no, there's 37 episodes, sorry.
Ah.
So we have 8 more episodes to go. And so with that said, we're heading into, of course, season 3, episode 29, which of course is 4 o'clock. The episode is directed by Lamont Johnson, written by Rod Serling, stars Theodore Bickle, Moina McGill, Phyllis Love, and Lyndon Chills. According to our supposed guest next week, this is worse than Tower of Trouble with Templeton. So we will see. We will see with that. So I don't know. I don't know much about this episode. So, anyways, with that said, we're going to head out. Jacob, Trev, it's been fun talking about penis stretching. I don't know why, but it's been fun. This episode is going to get demonetized because I've been talking about penis stretching so much. That's quite all right. So, anyways, with that said, Triv, you have channels and videos and content. Where's that located? Where's
You
that
can find
place?
me here. You can find me not penis stretching because I don't have that here on the YouTube's Trivial Theater as per usual. I put out a video for a Halloween tag that was kind of fun. I do have regular content. I should have something up and ready to roll either when this goes live or shortly thereafter. So yeah, keep an eye out for Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles one of these years.
Woo, woo.
And Triv, congratulations on hitting 1,100 subscribers.
I did, and then I
amazing.
dropped one underneath. Again,
Congratulations.
so...
Triv,
yeah,
congratulations on dropping a subscriber. I'm sorry I had to do that to you,
it's okay.
but the men got to keep the ladies down. The
Well,
world of
fuck you
YouTube.
too then.
Yeah.
Fuck you because
No, seriously, like congrats on actually hitting that milestone. So that's pretty cool. So appreciate it. We love you, Triv.
It was a
We
nice.
love you
It was
just
a
for that.
nice. It was a nice 3 hours when that happened.
Yeah, you'll get it back. Don't worry.
Yeah,
You'll get it back.
it'll take me
We're
another
taking
10
it back.
years, but it's okay.
Exactly.
Anyway.
Somebody take it back.
Jacob, you like to get hit in the nuts. You like goats to go, ah. You
Let me
like
rip.
penis stretching. I think. I don't know. No, you have a couple channels and an eBay and all kinds of shit, I think,
I like
going on
eBay.
right now. And where's all that located?
I have a YouTube channel. I have 2 of them, in fact. But check out Retro JKXY, where I do retro video game documentaries. And I have one coming. I can't say soon. I have one coming. I am working on it right now. I took a little bit of a break, as I do with these things. They take a long time to produce. So then I like to take like a little bit of a break. It took a little bit longer than I planned, but I just started I started a while back, but I got back into it yesterday of finishing up the writing process. Once that process is done, the rest kind of falls into place pretty quick. So hopefully I'll have that writing process of this episode completed this week, and then next week I'm going to go hard into actually producing the physical episode itself, or the documentary itself. So hopefully next week I'll have more information about when that will, better idea when that'll be hitting and where I'm at on. So soonish, a new one coming on another old, not as old, oldish system. Check that out, and check my ones out on the Nintendo 64 and the Dreamcast.
Yeah, because he pushed real hard into those coming out. So yeah, it's been a real stiff one for him to get things done. So yeah. A lot of stiff competition.
Lots of stuff.
It's late.
Stretching
It's late. I
competition.
know. I'm funny when I'm late. I don't know why I just said that. Anyways, with that said, I am at Movie Emporium. I put out a lot more content than I have in the recent months or recent weeks. Put out content for stuff like Appendage. Well, actually, Appendage will be coming out soon. I put out reviews for what did I review?
Flora and Son.
Yeah, like Fair Play and Devil Deliver Us and something else, Reptile or whatever it's called. Those have all come out as this recording post. But yeah, look for that, and as well as audio feeds, Anchor, SoundCloud, Audio Boom, all that good stuff. iTunes, please rate, subscribe. If you like our content. If you don't, give us ratings either way. We do appreciate it. So for myself, Jacob, and Triv, we'll see you guys next time in the Twilight Zone. Peace out, Peter Stretcher. So with that said, let's go ahead and do the last segment of the podcast, which of course is the Twilight Zone penis ranking list. The greatest ranking list since we stretched our penis. Damn it, I gotta do that now. Wow. So anyways, with that said, let's go into the last segment of this
Mr.
podcast.
Penis Stretcher on Doomsday.
Exactly. But yeah, that's season 3, episode 28, The Little People. And with that said, will the real penis stretcher please stand up?
Nervous man on a $4 penis stretcher.
Oh yes.
A penis to stretch.
I shot a penis stretcher into the air.
Ooh, the trouble with the penis
The
stretcher.
trouble with penis stretcher.
It's a good
Long
penis
live Walter
stretcher.
Penis Stretcher.
It's a good to serve penis stretcher.
Oh God.
A most unusual penis stretcher.
Oh God.
Oh, shit.